What up, fam? Let's rank all 21 LEGO Modulars. So now that we have the new 2026 LEGO Modular shopping street, let's see where it ranks with every other modular. Now, I'm only going to include the sets that are actually in the LEGO Icons Modular Collection line or its predecessor creator. I'm not including any gift purchases that were released with the later sets, nor am I including any compatible modular from Ninjago, Marvel, DC Ideas, the Brickmania Designer Program, or any other modular outside the actual line. I am, however, including Market Street, although a factory said it is a LEGO modular within the modular line, simply because it's referenced in the design and store within Assembly Square. It's also acknowledged from the godfather of the modular line, Brickmaster Jamie, and well, it also says so on Lego.com. So don't say that it's not simply because you don't want it to be. I used to be one of those people. Now, I don't personally know what the rules are that actually makes a modular within the line, but we understand that they are all fully enclosed. They have dark gray sidewalks with white lampposts, the obvious pin connections, but the not too obvious repetitive second floor that can be used to increase the height of the building. And the precedence for this can be seen in the back of the box of the very first modular, Cafe Corner. These are some consistent attributes that we as a fan can understand with some confirmation from designers. Now, before we even start, this ranking is my own opinion, and I acknowledge the fact that we all have our own ranking system in place, and that's totally fine. In fact, let me know what your ranking is in the comments. As I reflect on my own previous yearly rankings, either conducted by myself or with some of my closest friends, rankings change, just like with everything else in our lives. So definitely check out some of those early ranking videos, since they're some of my favorite content ever made here. But in my video, is it worth buying every LEGO modular today? I break up the line into 4 eras, starting with the original trilogy, consisting of Cafe Corner, Greengrocer, and Market Street, which were influenced by Dutch, Danish, and European style architecture, became the basic blueprint of the line. But aside from Greengrocer's first floor, all empty space left for the imagination of the builder. Next was the classic era, consisting of Fire Brigade, Grand Emporium, Pet Shop, Town Hall, and Palace Cinema, which were inspired by early Americana with its own individualities and less of a skyline cohesion. This was the beginning of back alleys, back doors, building interiors, storytelling, and carpeted floors. Then we have the modern era, which consisted of Parisian restaurant, detective's office, brick bank, Assembly Square, downtown diner, corner garage, and bookshop. Now the first floor of every building is now tiled with no carpet flooring, with the rooms no longer spacious but furnished with detail. Oh, and bathrooms are now a thing. But now the stories are complemented with each design of the set. And now we're living in what I call the color palette, which include the police station, boutique hotel, jazz club, Natural History Museum, Tudor Corner, and now Shopping Street. This time we're seeing the challenge the designers are taking amongst themselves to be different and unique, opening themselves up to polarizing opinions from the LEGO community as a whole, hence the name color palette. For example, criticizing the color choice of each set. So before we begin, I did mock up my own initial ranking based on my own favorites and biases, and then I entered everything into my own personal rubric that I use every year, and some of my faves went down and some of my meh ones went up. That being said, there are 4 different categories that I use to influence my ranking system, with one that I use as a tiebreaker. The first one's an obvious one, the exterior. Now I can assume that most, if not all, use this as the main means in their own ranking. For me, a score of 1 being uninspiring to a score of 5 being a favorite or a game changer in the design. Obviously, we're judging the book by its cover here, and it's totally valid since most are left on the shelf to be enjoyed by its appearance. And for most, you won't even look inside, or can't, unless you light them up. The next category is the interior. I know many might find this a waste of time and money, but I think it makes the building experience more enjoyable. It keeps you entertained during the building process, and it reduces negative space. For me, a score of 0 has like no interior, to a score of 5 where the building is meaningfully furnished in every single corner, which again, if it's lit up, it brings a whole new life to the building. LEGO, you are missing out on this opportunity. I know it can be difficult to be able to make this enjoyable by everybody to light up a set, but you're losing out to companies like LumiBricks or Fantasy, which I know LEGO can totally do because they could. Which leads to the next category, purpose. As a city builder, there are certain buildings that I need and some that just take up space. More importantly, I need it to function. Within my own rankings, a scoring of 1 being common buildings such as homes, apartments, stores, and food, to a score of 5 for extremely important jobs like fire, police, or anything like that. That being said, we need more public buildings. Like we need a post office, we need a school, and we need a hospital, at least. Like the kids have to rely on a Natural History Museum to learn anything. Everyone's getting sick and has to rely on a veterinarian in the corner garage. And we have nowhere to mail or receive anything. Just give us more public buildings, because without them, we'll have less drama, and drama creates storytelling. Which leads to the next category, storytelling. Now I know, Many of you do not care about this, but this is where the fun is. This creates nostalgia. It's the storytelling that could be the make or break between whether you like the set or you love the set. So for me, a score of 0, it has like no story at all, obviously. To a score of 5, where I'll always remember the story and never have to look it up again. Anyways, great artists find inspiration from their surroundings with their own lives. I look at these sets as a perfect example of that. I enjoy the fact that these designers find a reason for focal points. If they didn't, these buildings will feel hollow. So the better the story, the Easter eggs, or the references to other sets or themselves, I'm all in for it. And the tie-breaking category is value. This is where I determine what I can get out of it. That can either be the ROI or return on investment, or more importantly, nostalgia or bias. So the number B-roll are just makes no sense. It's just, I just want to throw my friends in the videos. That's all it is. So at the bottom, number 21. Pet Shop, the ultimate filler modular. Thanks to Emily or Emmasaurus who introduced this term to me, which now I can't unsee. These buildings pretty much exist to simply and are best sandwiched between 2 different corners or more appealing modulars. Thanks, Emily. The Pet Shop is used for that exact purpose. You can split it up even amongst itself and or fill gaps within your city blocks. It does nothing for me. Number 20, Market Street. No longer last in my book where it usually sits. This year, I decided to pull it up one in the exterior simply because it grew on me. Now that I have it, it's not that bad when you compare it to the reference material. If you want the highest return with your money, this is a set. This modular retailed for $89.99, the cheapest out of all the modulars, but now sells for either $640 used on average or $2,314 brand new on average. That's better than Cafe Corner and Greengrocer. Number 19. Grand Emporium. For its time and even to now, stands alone visually, but not enough to remember. It was designed to be like Cafe Corner where you can expand through duplicate sets, this one specifically either vertically or a full-on square. Personally, I think it looks great in the skyline, but more as a facade. Number 18, Don't Be Mad, Cafe Corner. The original episode 1 modular is so old school that they made windows without actual windows. It was the modular that truly inspired brick building, pun intended. But for this set, if you remove the power of nostalgia, there is a 0 interior and no story to tell. But it is an iconic design and set the blueprint for every other modular. Number 17, Don't Be Mad, Greengrocer. Like, don't click off. Like, for real, don't be upset. Don't click off. Just hear me out. This building lacks interior aside from the first floor and the radar and the clock. For most, nostalgia and FOMO really impact the rankings for most in this set. That being said, the limited availability of elements available in 2007, or actually 2006 when they're probably designing this, makes this impressively beautiful. But with that being said, this set was hyped up simply because of the pieces that were hard to obtain. Until now. Number 16. The Bookshop. Another filler modular like the Pet Shop, but in a more recent modern design. It has the same functionality and purpose, but just painted brighter with height and slight depth differences. And it's furnished. Oh, and the kids playing get stuck in a tree, and the designer's grandparents help them get it out. Overall, I enjoyed the stoop on the set. Podcast sitting on a stoop reference. Number 15, Fire Brigade. The first module with a full interior, the first vehicle, but only had 2 floors. But also the first public service for the city, which we need more of. This will be the first story that Jamie Berard uses directly from his personal life. The firefighters being his sister and her husband, the Bell, which was a fan build call out to his pre-LEGO group building days, but also the 1932 reference for the beginning of the LEGO group. To me, it's interesting, but it feels too big for what it is. Number 14, Town Hall. The first and only municipality building, it's towering, as it should be. Who else is going to write up policies and laws and levy taxes to help with all the streetlights in every modular building? It was one set that I was excited to get, but wasn't excited to build. Number 13, the Shopping Street. The new modular release for 2026, like the Tudor Corner, I did receive this one for free from LEGO. And like the Tudor Corner, we'll be buying a brand new one on day 1 to give away to someone in the community. But as you can tell by the release of this video, I'm a bit late compared to my peers within the LEGO Ambassador Network. My family life, my work life, and my social life, along with my podcast sitting on a stoop, made it a little difficult to find time. But before I get into the building, I did put out a reel short/TikTok asking how you all felt about the set. And there were some strong opinions. The common themes were the price. $20 more than Tudor Corner, $50 less than the Natural History Museum, but only 200 more pieces than Tudor. Many also feel that it's a beefed up Creator 3-in-1, and now I can't unsee that. Others view it as an offshoot of the Boutique Hotel, but not as cool. Maybe it's the color choices for the set that has been a constant criticism for most of the color palette modulars. Tudor Corner would probably be that exception, but for the shopping street, the colors to me feel more muted than recent modulars. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. Another is a do not drive version of the assembly square that is like assembly square and then like pushed down into one little set, but with the attempted angles of Boutique Hotel, which I like, by the way. I'm a fan of buildings with depth and personality. It makes the whole block look interesting instead of a giant rectangle. But yes, there is a decorative statue in the square with a music shop, which is an unwelcome repetition regardless of the nod to the marching band parade in Denmark. I guess LEGO's pushing for competition in the city. But the best part is that you no longer need to use masonry bricks to piece together your green grocer together. Thanks, LEGO. Overall, I feel like it's not the best modular, and it's definitely not the worst. It's like, here, number 12, Corner Garage. A modular that I feel that is completely underrated. I know this set wasn't a favorite upon release and mid, but I personally like this one. It's a good follow-up to the diner as well as a necessity within the city. It not only has a mechanic, but a gas station, which is extremely important since we don't have electric vehicles so far, but also houses the only doctor, which is a veterinarian. Since we don't have a hospital yet, this will have to do. Number 11. Natural History Museum. Back to the giant block of old, it reminds me more of a set that came within the classic era, where most of them being buildings without much depth, looking like big blocks. Still, it makes sense for what it is, a museum, which LEGO had fun with in their display work and exhibits within. Also, it's the closest thing to an education since we don't have a school, so it is important. Number 10, Palace Cinema. Now this one reminds me of home, which is Los Angeles, California. More specifically, that of the Chinese theater here in Hollywood. Now, I've always enjoyed the exterior of this set before lighting it up, but once lit, it definitely comes to life. Highly recommend, especially so you can enjoy the movie premiere happening inside. And if you're a fan of Eclipse graphics, being able to change out the movie poster is an added touch. But this is the first building meant for leisure and entertainment. Number 9. Detective's Office. The first modular that played both with height and depth using multiple buildings. It has the most 18 plus scenarios written all over it. That is with the cookie smuggling, the Law and Order vibe with the detective, the questionable pool hall, and the barbershop where most interesting conversations would happen. An easy plot for a drama, thriller, or action movie. Number 8. Jazz Club. The building that straight up says party. The colors, the interior, the stage, pizza, and a tailor to help style out an outfit. I know music tends to be a constant theme throughout the modulars, but at least we have a place where minifigures can perform and let loose. Number 7. Boutique Hotel. A throwback and homage to Cafe Corner and the first to challenge right angles. Now I know many have problems with gaps between the buildings, but I welcome it. Again, I like the inconsistency. As many find it an inconvenience to place next to another modular, I embrace the fun in that challenge. Plus, it makes the skyline less boring. Number 6. Assembly Square. Like I mentioned in previous rankings, if you ever needed one modular and one modular only, this will be it. This set has everything you need. Multiple buildings, multiple purposes, multiple references, especially to the Cafe Corner, Greengrocer, and Market Street. It's a city within itself. That is until I realized it was a filler modular. So in reality, you need 2 corners to add to this one. And then it feels like a complete city. Thanks, Emily. Number 5. The Brick Bank, the building where all the countless small businesses in the city store their money. This set, I think, has the most funniest story out of all of them. Like, come on, money laundering? It's comically serious without taking itself seriously. Number 4. Parisian Restaurant. What used to be one of my top 2 for a long time, this is a modular that got me out of my dark ages. It still holds out to being one of Jamie Barrar's masterpieces. It's beautiful in the exterior design. It's very fun to build with the interiors, from the kitchen to the artist's loft, the story of the proposal to the actual color of the building. It's perfect. But over time, especially with lining up my city, this one was challenged. Number 3. Police Station. Talk about a modular that grows on you. This one did that. Like the Detective's Office, it's almost cartoonish on the depth and height. Still though, the color contrast with the color choices between the buildings, the seriousness or lack thereof within the police station itself, plus it took a decade to have law and order in the city. Unfortunately, they're unable to stop a donut thief. Number 2. Downtown Diner. Now, I've always found this one to be interesting. At the time, this got a lot of flack for being too different from the previous modular designs. But if you truly look at the entire line, they're all off. Maybe 1, 2, or even 3 may make sense with others, but as an overall theme, these buildings do not take place during one time or place, but all over. And if you accept that, you'll enjoy the theme more. It's okay to let go of that consistency, guys. Plus, when you light it up, play some rockabilly music in the background. This one rules. Maybe it's the Friends colors that do it. Number 1, Tudor Corner. It's one that doesn't mesh well with any other modular, but still does in a way. And since I've embraced not wanting a monotonous skyline, this wrenching design complements that. It's not only fun to build, but interesting to look at in every direction, literally. Plus, it was a nod to hidden disabilities, and for me, it will always be a reminder for my mission to provide LEGO to those that may never think to have LEGO or have the ability to get one. Like previous years, I'll be donating all these LEGO sets to kids at Hillsides. So although nostalgic, my rubric still kept this at number 1. And like I said with the Assembly Square, if you were to only choose one modular, just one, this will be it. Now we have to wait a full year until we see our next set. Don't worry, 2027 is going to come by quickly, but what modular building do you want to see LEGO make next?